I never get an answer or a voicemail. And
our phones have been down for a solid 10 days. We didn't get any phones until late Friday afternoon.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. So I was just calling. I was trying to find out a couple of things. I noticed well, first of all, can you tell me how things are coming along with the Summer Wells case? Would you mind telling me that?
Well, we are tracking down everything that every lead. We're tracking them down. They've been back up there to search. They didn't find anything. I mean, there is activity on that case every day. Is it been nothing except return phone calls to somebody that says you left a message and she does something, tell me,
Yeah. So do you think there's going to be a resolution in that case, or?
Well, if I had knowledge of that, I would go today and find her little body and resolve this issue.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't know how it's going to turn out, but my gut instinct says it's been an awful long time.
I know
for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. It's really sad. It's really touched my heart. It's really heartbreaking to me too. And I worry about it so much. I worry because, they don't come out and give updates and stuff like that. And, I know there's probably nothing new, but I mean, is there a reason that you think that, in your opinion, that they don't do that, or?
Well, can I be perfectly blunt with you?
You can be perfectly blunt and honest with me, because the reason I say that is, and let me just say this first, is because you see all these other cases where they come out and they give conferences, or they at least keep you updated and stuff like that. And I just want honesty from people,
Well, I mean, they're not trying to hide anything. It's just that, when people, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
You would not believe the stuff that people have said to me about my sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that they are working their butts off.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you don't have anything new to say, and you come out and you go on to the news and say, well, sad as it is, we don't have anything new and we don't have anything additional to tell you. Well, then the next thing that happens is, that damn sorry department, they need to be having somebody, when I don't know what else they'd like, because the FBI is involved in it, the TBI is involved in it, Hawkins County Sheriff's Department is beat up with it. They're so involved with it. I don't know who else they would like for us to call in.
I think
to make it magically happen.
Yes, ma'am. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of it, they put their trust in Ronnie, and they had a lot of trust in Hawkins County Sheriff's Department up until a lot of that come out about Brandon Lawson. And I don't mean.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. I have 4. I have 4 grown.
Are you responsible for what your children do?
No, I'm not responsible for. No, ma'am. I'm not responsible for what they do. But to an extent, I don't hide what they do either. And the problem with that lies where Ronnie was on Summer's case or head of it or whatever. And, this is where people has a problem, is where and I don't just blame Ronnie, and, people don't just blame Ronnie. So I'm trying to be very respectful with you. I'm just being, talking to you, is where, so he sat on this for a long time while he was on this case. You asked me, did I have children? So I couldn't sit on something my child did like this for a while, and and TBI did too. So I also blame TBI, because if that was you or me or anybody else, trust me, Ronnie or Hawkins County or nobody else is going to have your back or your child's back either. to set on it to be hush hush or have special investigations come in and wait until the time is right for your child to go have special whatever, although you work for them. That's not going to happen. If something ever in the future should happen to your child or your grandchildren or anybody else, they're not going to have your back. You know, they're not going to have Miss Becky's back or Miss Becky's family's back, and they're not going to have Miss Tammy's back or, you know, anybody else's back for that matter. So that's where lies the biggest problem right there. And TBI would not either. So that's where a lot of the disturbance comes in at. And no, although Ronnie's not responsible, a lot of it comes in there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow. And, you know, so then people go back and then they look at things with fresh eyes and from the beginning, and then they go, well, things were done like this and that before we even knew about Brandon, and then this is how, you know, it looks.
I mean, in my opinion counts for 50 cents, just like it's when you win.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't see where Brandon and some of Wales have anything in connection. Number one, Ronnie is Brandon's father. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie didn't know this happened. Didn't know that it was being investigated until my investigator from this office went to Ronnie and said, look, we need to make you up to par and let you know that your son is going to be charged with this. You know? So, and as far as Summer, yes, he is the elected sheriff, but, you know, he doesn't run the FBI, he don't run the TBI, and he has had 2 officers dedicated to this case from the moment she went missing.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, they report to him and say, you know, this is what's happening, or this is what I've done, or this is what, you know, this crazy lady said when she called, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I had a lady call me last week, before last, that told me that she was from the Wales and that I needed to make arrangements for her to meet her mom and daddy for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
and she had to be 60 years old.
my God. Yeah, I mean, and
I mean, you know, you're dealing with those, and I don't mean to be this disrespectful, because, you know, there's mental illness and everything. But, you know, slackos are hindering this investigation with stuff like that. Because when I get that message, or when the officer gets that message, it has to be checked out.
yes, and I agree.
You know, there might be an ounce of something that would be important to that craziness. And you have to stop what you're doing and check it out.
Yes, ma'am, and I 1,000% agree with you there. You know, because we have people saying, you know, if there's pictures floating around, which I know y'all know about stuff like that, if there's this child or that child that somebody puts out, or, you know, that don't need to be checked out. No, everything needs to be checked out. It has to.
Everything that we get wind of is the officers stop what they're doing, lay that aside, and work on this like it's hot fires.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
there might be something important.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I agree with that. Well, let's see. Can I ask you? Now, I heard. Okay, so well, we can, I guess, get out of the way. Ronnie has no intention of stepping down or anything because of what Brandon did.
No. I mean, if my son or daughter was drunk, killed somebody yesterday, would that cost me my job when I've been here 37 years? No.
Okay, does he intend on speaking on it or anything like that, or is he just gonna go on about his daily routine?
Speaking on what?
On his son being arrested. I'm just wondering. I'm just asking.
Well, I don't know what he intends to do, but if it were me, I'd say no. You know, my son was dealt with the judicial system. He's now in jail where he is serving his time, and I don't see where I owe anybody any explanation, because, you know, I am a hurt parent. My heart's hurting. That's my kid. You know, God knows I didn't want any of this for him. But, you know, no, I don't intend to drag it out and talk about it. I mean, that's where I would be if I were him.
Yeah, it's just that people think that, and I'm not just speaking for me, but it's just people think that he did not get, or maybe he got special treatment because even looking back in, even, let me just put it this way, even with Don Wells, Don got more time with his DUI than Brandon got with what he did, saying for worser crimes that people do, people do lesser crimes and get more stuff. Brandon, do you get what I'm saying? I mean, and that
I understand exactly where you're coming from, but that case was handled in the Greenville office, and it was the deal. The charges were placed in the Greenville office.
This gets better.
What he was going to be sentenced to was placed in the Greenville office. But I will tell you this. It'd be real hard to be on probation for 20 years.
Well, yeah, I agree. But can I ask, Armstrong did not handle that case? I'm just being blunt. Why was it handed over to Greenville?
Because Richie Collins and Cecil Mills, who are the senior ADAs in the Greenville office, they were the ones that it was first reported to. They are the ones who did all the interviews. And, Dan, they told Dan what was happening, but, Dan he's spread thin sometimes between 4 counties.
Yeah. I mean, but it was his jurisdiction. I mean, why did he choose to hand it over to them? I mean, why
he didn't hand it over to them. It was they were the two people who came when the girl walked in and wanted to report it. They were the two people who interviewed her first. So after all these people were interviewed and everything, they talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. I mean, there's no reason, for Dan to say, well, I'm the elected official and I'm going to go to court and do the presentation. There's just no reason for him to step in because people's got 40 years of experience and Richie's got 18.
Why did they bring in?
There's no need.
Why did they bring in a special judge? I'm just trying to understand all of this. Why did they bring in?
Well, the reason if the same scenario, if my kid killed somebody tomorrow or yesterday, they would bring someone in because our judge has to deal with our sheriff and he recused himself. He would just rather someone that has no affiliation with our sheriff's department. And they often do that. It's very common. That's no special nothing.
Well, so does Dan Armstrong think he's going to get any kind of conviction on the Summer Wells case at all? How does he feel about that?
Well, we can't convict somebody till we find somebody who did it. You've got to have a defendant before you can have a conviction.
Okay, but you stated earlier, I mean, in your opinion, I mean, it come out of your mouth, I mean, you feel Summer Wells is dead, correct?
Well, I feel like it is logically probably so. It's just, where is she? We looked everywhere. We looked every rock. Where is she?
Mm-hmm.
And she's, it's been over a year. But nothing in my heart would make me any happier than her to open my front doors and I recognize a little angel.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Ronnie keeps saying everybody's a suspect and everything.
Wait for this.
Well, it is. I mean, until you get a definite defendant or a definite cluster of defendants, meaning 1, 2, or 3, or whatever, everybody is a potential suspect.
Well, you have the neighbor who, keeps going around saying, oh, I'm not a suspect. I've been told that.
Our law enforcement and me, even you, I'm responsible for what I say and do. I can't comment on what the neighbor said or what she thinks she is or what she thinks she ain't. It just, if she's fooled enough to think that she is exonerated and she's absolutely cleared, then, that's her own assumption. No one has said, sister, you're free and clear.
So you can't, she couldn't be, in other words, she's still a suspect. Is that correct?
Everybody is a suspect until we get somebody that walks in their office or that sheriff. I took on the wells, or I know where she's at, and they lead us to her. Everybody is a potential suspect because we have no clue what happened to that baby girl except she's missing.
Yeah, and I understand
That
that.
is the one thing we are absolutely positive of. She is missing. She is not in her family's home, and she is not attending the school that she should be attending, in the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Those things we're positive of.
Mm-hmm.
But all the rest is just
Baloney.
opinion or suspect, or baloney. You're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Baloney is a good word for it.
I think it's a distraction. I think people want to distract. That's what I think. And why is the question.
I will tell you, we have spent many hours trying to verify, just crazy conversations, that I've had with people.
Uh-huh.
I jot everything down that's said, and I turn it over to the officer, and then it's to filter it to see if there is anything. But there again, if he's wasting, shooting bullshit,
Yeah.
then you're wasting precious time that could be used to find her.
Yes. So I just know, that also too, sometimes they can prosecute without a body. And so I just wondered if, that was.
Well, I have been here 37 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I've witnessed and participated and helped prepare many, many murder trials in that length of time in my capacity as a legal secretary here.
Oh.
And I have never seen a trial with an extensionary. You have to have a body under Tennessee law.
So if they never find Summer Wells, then I guess the people just walk free. In Summer Wells' case, unless you have a strong tip or something like that, or proof. And that's what I'm just kind of afraid of.
We all have the same fear that she will never be found and no one will ever serve time or she will not have justice. That's a fear we all have, but it's awful because she turned out to be a 5-year-old child, but man, I've got 7 other people that are missing in Hawkins County,
Yes, ma'am. And
there are just, all of them are active cases and all of them are, all of them work periodically at times.
there's a lot of those. We haven't heard about. Is there a reason for that?
Some of these cases, Nobody Rogersville Review, just less than 3 months ago, they wrote an article on every one of them.
Okay. I'll go back and look. I try to tend to search it every day, but I could have easily missed it. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It really is.
And I don't mean to cut this short, but I've got a doctor's appointment in 20 minutes, and I've got to go across town.
Can I ask you one more question, and I'll let you go? I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Is it true? There's rumor. Is it true that Ronnie Lawson's daughter is sick and they don't expect her to make it? Is that a truth or a rumor?
Well, I feel like that's a question you need to ask Ronnie.
Well, I would if I could actually get a hold of him. He's a very hard man to get a hold of these days.
Well, he does have a daughter, and
is she sick? Let's just say, is she sick? Can we just do that? Well, maybe a lot of people might ease up on him a little bit. I just kind of.
I'm sorry, but where's the people's forgiveness in this man? Can you imagine having to live with this as an elected official and it being your son? Can you imagine the hurt and harm that you're living with?
Well, yes.
And I just don't understand where Brandon Lawson doesn't have anything to do. Anything.
And can I ask you this? Where was Brandon Lawson? Did even his dad ask on June 15th of 2021? Do we even know? Now, I'll just be blunt with you there. Nobody knows where Summer's at. Nobody knows if she'll ever be found. So I'll just straight out ask you, where was Brandon Lawson on that day, ma'am?
I have no idea.
Okay, there's your answer, and there's the question. Nobody knows nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would be hurt, but I'm not going to cover up nothing for my son in relations to being a child predator. I'm sorry, especially not on my own granddaughter.
I will
we would like to know, and again, if Ronnie's daughter is sick, please send our prayers, because we do not want, we don't want that,
Well, I mean, she needs your prayers.
Thank you. I mean, we do pray. We don't want anybody that is, nobody else innocent needs to be put through any of this mess. None of it. And we want Summer Wells found, and we hope Mr. Armstrong will please do his due diligence, and maybe he should consider doing work without a body. When does the next grand jury meet? May I ask that, and then I'll let you go.
Next grand jury is December the 5th.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Becky, and you have a great day. Okay, and bless you.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas.
That was a lot, but I hope y'all got something out of it.